What's up, people? My name is Adolphus, Nyarko, and you're welcome to the channel, and today we'll be talking about what it takes to become a medical doctor. If you've been wondering about thinking, it must be so difficult, right? Or it must be easy, right? Or you've not been wondering about it at all, it's fine. I'm going to talk about it with you today. Don't worry about what I'm wearing, it's just for the thumbnail. I'm going to change and then we'll get into it. Let's go. Yes. All right. So we're going to start off very simple. What does it take to become a medical doctor? Who is a doctor? Who is a medical doctor? And what do you need to do to become a medical doctor? What does becoming a medical doctor involve in terms of the studies, in terms of the quote-unquote achievements, or in terms of what you need to do to become one? Okay, so a doctor by definition, right, has three main meanings. Well, there are a lot, but I'm just going to focus on these three. The first one is someone who is well versed and knows much about doctrine. For example, in the Catholic Church. So that person is called a doctor of the church, right? The second one is someone who has attained a degree, an academic degree, which is the highest academic degree you can get from a university, which is the PhD, all right? Well, there's postdoc, but which is the PhD. So when you have the PhD in any area, you are called a doctor. It means that you have a lot of knowledge about whatever field it is that you are conferred the PhD in. And the third one is someone who is skilled in the arts and science of medicine. Okay, it could be treating human beings, animals, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it is the science and art of medicine that the person is skilled in. So these are the three main meanings of a doctor. And I'll be talking about the latter, which is the medical doctor. So someone who is skilled in the science and art of medicine. What does it take to become this person? So to become a medical doctor, it requires different things in different countries or in different areas or regions of the world. I'm a Ghanaian who knows a bit about what it takes to become a medical doctor in Ghana, but I actually had my medical education in China. And so I've had a chance to research or know a bit about what it takes to become a medical doctor in several places in the world. All right, so to become a medical doctor, you need to have your basic education, your high school education, right? And to enter into medical school, you need to have some sort of background in science, and that science has to be related to biology because, you know, you'll be dealing with living things, you know, be it animals or people. The requirement for different countries is different. Some countries require you to have first gone and done some pre-med courses. Okay, so I think in the US, you need to do 4 years of pre-med in college, right, before you can enter into medical school. In other places, you need to have a background in science, as I said, and then in the medical school, you'll be taught those things in addition to your normal medical courses. In some medical schools, apart from your 4 years of pre-med, you do 4 years of medicine and then you become a medical doctor. But in others, you're required to do 5 years of medicine or 6 years, right? So it differs in different places. But the point is, you need to have some background of biology, science in general, before you're accepted to become a medical student. Because I did clinical medicine, that is what I'll be talking about. The art and science that deals with medicine relating to human beings. All right, so after you have your basic knowledge, right, that is related to science, that's the biology, and you enter into medical school, which is a whole different topic because the process of entering is not easy. But after you've entered, right, what does the medical school teach you? The medical school is going to teach you three main categories of courses. Basically, you have to study or you have to learn the basic medical sciences, and then you learn what I call the bridge medical sciences, and then you go on to learn the clinical medical sciences. The basic medical courses include topics like anatomy, physiology, immunology, biochemistry, things that form the basics of science and the basics of biology, all right? And then you have the clinical medical courses. There are 4 main clinical medical courses. We have the internal medicine, surgery, pediatrics, and obstetrics and gynecology. But there are a lot more. There's emergency medicine, there's infectious disease, there's ENT, there's stomatology. There are a lot more, okay, that fall under the clinical medical courses. So why the division? Because what you learn in the basic medical sciences are what you're going to apply to the clinical medical sciences when you're studying and when you need to use them out there in the real world. But there's also a group of courses that links these two. There's courses like the diagnostics, courses like imaging, things like that. They help you take what you have learned in the basic medical sciences and apply them to the clinical medical sciences. And after all these, when you're finished studying, then you do something called the internship. So internship is where you take everything you have learned and you go to a real world hospital and you apply everything you have learned in medical school. So the time you do internship and the duration of your internship is dependent on the country you find yourself in or the region of the world you find yourself in, as well as the medical school you find yourself in. Some medical schools would first graduate you and then make you do a year of internship. Others would make you do a year of internship before graduation, and it all depends on where you are. But you still need to do internship. And what happens in the hospital during internship is that you do what we call rotations. Rotations is where you go from department to department, shadowing doctors, learning from them in a practical sense. And so at this point, you're asked to do some basic procedures in the hospital, like cleaning of wounds in surgery departments and some other basic stuff, measuring of patients' blood pressure, and all that also depends on where you find yourself. In some areas or in some regions of the world, medical students are allowed to do certain things, and in other regions they are not. So it also depends on where you find yourself. In some places, you would actually be required to also do what we call community outreach. You go into the communities to either give some medical education to the people, or you go to actually help them with some medical needs. And so the paths are very different depending on where you find yourself in the world. But after you've finished all these, you finished your basic medical sciences and courses, you finished the bridge medical sciences and courses, you finished the clinical ones, you've also finished your practical side, that is the internship. When you pass all of this, and then your university confers onto you a bachelor's degree, okay? And this bachelor's degree is called different names in different parts of the world. It may be called a Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, MBBS. It also may be called a Doctor of Medicine. Clinical medicine is not the only type of doctor you can be. You can do veterinary medicine, you can do dentistry. All these are doctors, but they are not the same. They don't do the same thing, but they are all people who are skilled in the science and art of medicine, and that's why we call them doctors. Now, when you have this bachelor's degree, people will think that is it. It's the end. But your journey has just begun to become a medical doctor. Alright, so thank you for being with me up to this point. This is basically what it takes to become a medical doctor. But I want you to comment in the comment section whether you think after medical school you're a medical doctor or not, and why. I'll be talking about what happens after medical school and the different paths that people explore when they're done in a separate video. Subscribe to the channel, hit that post notification bell so that you don't miss the next upload. My name is Adolphus, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. I was supposed to say peace out, but it's okay. Or you need to have studied science, okay? And that science has to have... So to become a medical doctor, you need to have